Hello everyone and welcome to another spooky edition of the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And we're here to talk about a monster movie. I guess it's a monster movie. I thought the cover makes you think it's a monster movie, but it's a whole different spectrum. We're talking about Equinox from 1970.
Yeah, to start there, I'm actually very surprised because you hear the name, you see the cover by Criterion, and I'm like, this movie is smack dab atomic age, mid-50s, right?
Yes.
No. It's from 1970. Threw me off.
That threw me off too. I was like, oh, 1970, what? And then
you start watching the movie and you're like, this has to be from the 50s.
Yeah. They're really going for that atomic age 50s feel, I think.
Yeah.
The budget on this movie, I believe, was $6,500.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
They get a lot out of that $6,500.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get stop motion action. Even like Harryhausen's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Dave Allen does this stop motion. You know who Dave Allen is, right? What other work he's done at least? Some titles. He did most of the Puppet Master movies.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
He did the Subspecies movies. He did Freaked. Stop motion stuff for Freaked.
Okay.
So he's done a good amount of stuff. The Subspecies one, I was like, wow.
And that's actually the most impressive thing I find in the movie is the stop motion stuff.
This was like one of his. I think this is his first movie.
Yeah, I think it's great.
He's still working. Right?
I think the stop motion stuff in this movie is great.
It's what stands out. It's what stays.
To me, it's the highlight.
Yeah.
And to say that the whole movie was shot for $6,500, and if he didn't get $6,400 of it, I'd say they got a deal.
Well, there's a phantom car.
Yeah.
How the car drive by itself.
It's true. True. Well, in some shots, it's driving by itself.
So yeah, someone had to make the book too.
Yeah.
Oh, and the little the ring, whatever the ring thing that
yeah.
I forget the guy's name. Not Ozymandias. Whatever the name is.
I also found
Asmodeus or whatever it was.
Asmodeus.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I also found out that Fritz Lieber is in this movie, the author, which is crazy to me. But we digress.
Yeah.
So the film's about this doctor. I'm assuming he's like a professor of like ancient literature
stuff.
or like religious studies or whatever. But basically, he gets this book that is this ancient like evil devil worshipping kind of book or whatever, and he studies it and like translates it or whatever, and basically summons Asmodeus. And that's where we're at in this movie. He summons Asmodeus and just wrecks the lives of him and a few of his students.
Yeah. On a picnic.
On a picnic. And yeah,
that's the movie.
That's the movie. Apparently, it does have some similarities with Evil Dead, but yeah, this is a strange one, folks.
Yeah,
you feel like you're watching like there's scenes that get like repeated, but it's like slightly different perspective.
But the funny thing is,
you have more information now.
The funny thing is, before we went on air here. You're like, you can take the lead way because I don't really know what happened in the movie, and I'm like, we don't even know what happened in the movie either. This is a movie. This is like a midnight movie, and you could tell 100%. It is. It's a movie to watch in the background. I don't know what's happened half the time. Like they just kept every time. Like I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I was like on my phone. I looked up. Oh, they're still at the same scene. Oh no, it's a different scene. Right. They just keep going back and forth.
Right.
And I'm just like, what is going on? The second time, I watched it all the way through without not looking at my phone. I still have no clue what I watched. I get it that Asmodeus is the...
he's a demon.
The villain. He's the demon.
Yeah.
He turns into a demon.
And
he's originally a cowboy. Not a cowboy, a sheriff boy.
Yeah, and he summons, like, different monsters.
Oh, yes.
Which are all... Like I said, him as a demon and all the monsters... is like the best part of this movie.
It reminds me of movies like this, which makes me think of like Don Dohler films.
A little bit.
Who's from Maryland, R.I.P. There's a movie I have right here called Winter Beast. That's a lot of stop motion. Just like these like low budget, kind of monster in the woods ideas. This one I feel like is like the predecessor of it. I mean, you also have like like the stuff from like the 50s and 60s, stuff like that.
And I do love. There is one thing that I kind of point out a similarity is between this and In the Mouth of Madness, where it's not the same exact structure, but there's a point where somebody goes and talks to the character who survives, who's in a mental asylum, and that's kind of how this movie starts. They go and talk to David, who's been in the asylum for a year and a day, and they pretty much uncover the rest of the story, and that's kind of how the story unfolds.
Yeah.
And then to have it wrap up with a nice, neat bow.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
Yes.
But it comes around quite neatly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'll say that. It's
You don't know what you watch, but it does come around and ends full circle.
It's one of these, like, I understand the general plot of it. I understand what we're going, but sometimes we kind of... I'll say this. The first half hour meanders a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's the big drawback of the movie. It's just, like, the first half is just... Except for, like, the beginning. Like, the stuff where he's, like, running away from the car and stuff. You know, that's cool. But, like, once he starts telling the story, it's kind of dull. And then things starts happening, and, like, okay, you're kind of back into it, but, like...
And, yeah, pretty much nothing extraordinary happens until the monsters start showing up.
It's only a slow burn in that one section. Everything else speeds through. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't have much else to say about the movie.
Music was fine.
Yeah.
You know, for what it was.
I mean, it's a low budget film. It's not not a terribly made low budget film. They made it work with what they had. I think that's a testament on. It also is probably one of the it's also one of the most popular midnight cult movies. And I feel like that's probably why it's on Criterion, because of those reasons, because of the budget and how it went. Like we talked about, I Was a Teenage Zombie, which I think one of the producers commented on it, telling the story, which is great. Looking back at the movie, it's a fun little movie. It was, it ain't the greatest movie I've ever seen, but a lot of low budget movies are kind of like there's a lot of big budget movies that we don't really like. Terrence Malick.
Don't tell the fans that. They'll go back and they'll comment on those videos.
Nope. Joe, 2 questions. Would you recommend this movie to people, and also would you put this in your 31 movies of Halloween if you're doing that 31 movies list?
It's weird because, like, I have a soft spot for stop motion and Harryhausen stuff. I grew up watching those.
Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, and Jason and the Argonauts, and the Sinbad movies. This is not on that level, but you see there's a ton of talent there, and it is, to me, the highlights. The highlight of the movie is the stop motion scenes. I'm going to say that I'm going to err on the side. I'm not going to just generally recommend this. And that's like a 51-49 split. I'm going to err on the side of not recommending it. But for the Halloween 31 Days of October, I say watch it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say no for the general recommendation and yes for a Halloween spooky fest movie. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna recommend the movie because I'm also in that kind of middle ground. Like, would I recommend it? Would I not? It's harmless. The stop motion's cool, but everything else is like it's fine, it's passable, it's fine for what it is. But I would not recommend it for 31 Days of Halloween because it's not really that big of a horror movie in my opinion. It's more of like a sci-fi, like kind of weird movie. There's a little horror in there, but not really.
I mean, the guy's a demon.
Yeah, but there's a lot of picnics. Then again, Friday the 13th has a couple picnics too, I believe.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's bigger movies that you could watch.
It took 9 movies for Jason to find a demon.
That is very true. That is very...
This one gets a demon in right away.
This is true. Oh, man. You know what? Screw it. You changed my mind. On that argument alone, I'm going to recommend it for both Yes, loose yes on recommend on general audience. I feel like if you are a CGI fan, you're gonna hate it. So don't if you're like that. But if you're not a CGI fan, and you like stop motion, definitely check out this out. And you know what? Because there's a demon in it. Put into 31 days. If you need a nice like palate cleanser, I think this is the movie you can use as a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Just watch a bunch of demon movies with it.
Yeah.
Well, now Drag Me to Hell is not a demon movie, is it?
No, not really.
Not really.
No.
But watch Drag Me to Hell and then watch this movie. Good double feature. But yeah, that's our thoughts on Equinox. Let us know in the comments section below what you think about the film. Is there another like film of just the director or Dave Allen that you also want to recommend? It's probably not on Criterion, but you know, recommend it anyway. Like, subscribe, share. You can follow us on Instagram, Condish Productions. So you can see all the stuff that we do, little art stuff. I might be posting some film behind the scenes stuff in the future. Who knows? And that's about it. So I don't even know what we have for next week. I wrote down the schedule. I don't remember. So we're just gonna find out blindly what it is. So until next time, people. I'm Wade.
And I'm still Joe.
And we will see you later.